Soldiers of Reddit, what is something you wish you had known before joining the military? I wish I had known how important my hearing was. I sleep with a f-king fan on my nightstand now because the silence is deafening. Tinnitus is a bitch, ain't she? I'm looking to join the army as an officer in the future. I intend to protect my ears at all costs, but considering the nature of the job, is hearing loss inevitable? Like outside of combat situations, will I be forced to be around loud explosions and shoot without ear protection? Every time you go to the range they provide disposable ear pro, but you're better off bringing your own high-quality reusable plugs. Also, if you go into anything aviation related, you will need 2 layers of ear pro. I was a 15U and after 6 years I cannot hear my wife when she is more than 10 feet away and my ears ring non-stop. Some hearing loss will happen, but it can be mitigated if you plan ahead. I've never been to prison. But shit, I have to imagine that deployments are damn near close to it. Bored out of your fucking mind, getting swole at the makeshift, outside gym, counting down the days, surrounded by dudes, and every now and then, some arsehole tries to kill you. Excellent analogy. Don't forget, very occasionally getting to call your family on a shitty connection. Common logistics always boggled my mind. Hey grunts, here's the schedule for the shitty sat phone. Connection drops minutely, barely readable. Got to order some protein powder. Get Amazon package straight to the op in a week. Should have done ROTC and finished up college instead of enlisting. I tell this to every person who has a kid or brother wanting to go in. Never listen though. Brush me off like I'm an idiot. Go to a 4-year college, join ROTC. Graduate as a lieutenant. Make 40k a year. By time you're 32 you'll be f-king major making 100k a year. Or enlist and make 20-30k and hit a dead end. Edit, apparently a lot of enlisted make more than 30k. I'm misinformed. Just seen the bad side with some friends who come back alcoholics, broke, living with their parents, going to a tech school to build a new job path in their late 20s. Fellow women military people will back this up. See civilian gynecologists. All military people will back this one up. See civilian dentists. At tech school we got this long sex ed type briefing. The briefer stressed the importance of birth control for those who wanted it and said the IUD was available to us, and went on and on about how great the IUD was. So I asked the gyno at my duty station for the IUD and they basically said no. I'm in VA healthcare now and tried to get an appointment to do the IUD, but now they want a phone consultation before I can make the appointment. Seems like babies are running pretty expensive these days. I'm surprised they wouldn't be glad to do it just to save themselves money. Went to the dentist once. I'd never seen a dentist work so quickly. It was like drive-through fast food dentistry. Edit, IUD phone consultation date has come and gone, they failed to call. Know that when you join your life is owned by the government. It's fairly obvious, but when you actually experience it, it can be pretty surreal. Doesn't matter what you want, all that matters is what the government wants from you. My old man was terminally ill and trying to get home was a nightmare. If I had been a civilian I could have just quit. I have had a good career with the military. I'm releasing in the next few months because this has started to really bother me. Dude, I'm sorry. Your leadership asked. During the end of my last deployment one of my SSG's father ended up in the hospital. He was stable so they were going to release him. The problem was he couldn't really care for himself, and the hospital wouldn't send a Red Cross message. I fought tooth and nail to get him sent home. That was my life for about 10 hours. I should have been sleeping, but I stayed up and kept calling the hospital and basically walked a doctor through how to send a Red Cross message. Yay, I was pretty baffled that he didn't know how to do it. Once the Red Cross message got through I went and woke him up, helped him pack, and had him on a flight home within 8 hours. My NCOs took care of me, so I made damn sure I took care of them any chance I could. Edit, thank you everyone for the kind words and support. It means a lot. The craziest thing was when I was threatened with an Article 15 for destruction of government property, when I got sunburn. Granted, it was a pretty bad burn, fell asleep for hours in the sun, but I was shocked. Still don't know if it was just a threat. Edit, was a whiskey at Fort Sam in Texas. Don't trust to everything your recruiter tells you. Look up info on your own and bounce questions off of them. I didn't got stuck as a laundry specialist for 4 years. Oh, and color vision can affect the jobs you can get in the military. Edit, let me give some more details on my story. I wanted to join the army to do cool army shit. Plain and simple. I was a junior in high school when a recruiter called out of the blue and told me about the split option. The split option meant I could go to basic during the summer and come back and finish up high school. Only thing was that I had to join the reserves and pick a non-combat MOS. The recruiter told me I could change my whole contract after I got back from basic. That was the lie, so I signed up for any old MOS, which ended up being a 92S, shower, laundry, and clothing repair specialist. So I go off to Footsil for the summer. When I got back I went back to the recruiter station. My original recruiter moved on to his next duty station, and when I asked about changing my contract I was told I had to wait until I was 18. A few months go by, I'm an adult, I go back, rules change, I have to wait 2 years. So I go to 8 and become a 92S and report to my unit. I ask about changing my MOS and get no help from the shitbag full-timers, so I was stuck as a stitch bitch for 4 years until a sister unit let me join them and reclass to deploy with them. Now as for color vision, I found out I was red-green colorblind when I went through MEPS and thought nothing of it. Mistake on my part. I learned later, that due to my colorblindness, I was unable to do all that cool army shit that I originally wanted to do. So no combat MOS, no specialty schools, no f***ing nothing. I never did a single thing I wanted to do in the army. It ended up being a big waste of time. I'm going to stop typing because I'm making myself angry. Just do me a favor. If you're considering joining the military, remember my mistakes and don't get FK/FCK yourself over. A laundry specialist? Did you just do everyone's laundry? Don't get that dumbass skull with a beret tattoo. Or an anchor. But him the Air Force. Can I get an anchor tattoo or will it be hypocritical? Get an airplane with an anchor hanging off the side. Most of sniper school involves a lot of math. There's nothing glamorous about being B4, most of the time you're waiting around in the heat. It's nothing like the movies. All the people in books that say they can remember the faces of everyone they've shot are full of shit. The big one, not only can you not smoke, you can't use tobacco in any form. Good luck if you're another nicotine addict. The maths in sniper school makes it sound awesome. There's FCK ton if maths in sniping. Formula after formula to calculate wind and bullet drop. It's just multiplication and division by constants depending on range, mil measurement, or wind speed. It's not exactly differential equations, just a bunch of tedious little calculations. Don't really long shots have to take into account the rotation of the Earth as well? That shit's awesome. Most of the work is done by a Kestrel wind sensor. It takes the bullet, Coriolis effect, humidity, wind etc. into account and does a majority of the work for you. A sniper usually has plenty of technology helping him, but needs to learn how to shoot without it. But can it do a perfect 360 no-scope wall bang when required? More importantly, can it question the deceased sexuality and insult their mother sufficiently afterwards? Accountability. If you're sick, you notify your fireteam leader or squad leader. If you don't, not only do you get in trouble, you get their ass in trouble, which in turn, will get you in more trouble. In addition, save every bit of info you're given, because it may one day save you ass. It could be a signature for an order, acknowledging you're sick, anything that would you might get questioned for doing something or not being somewhere. How very, very likely you are to get irrevocably hurt doing the things you do every day. That's how most people get hurt, in fact. For me it was PT. I've had a knee repair, a shoulder repair, stress fractures, a hideous staph infection. The list goes on. Danish Army. How civilian life feels after. Don't get me wrong, civilian is often easier than what I ever had to go through in the army. But no one ever taught me how to readjust back to how everyone else are. But when you're in the army, you become mentally adjusted to a way of life, and while that way of life might be very challenging, you almost always know what it brings, or you are trained how to meet any eventualities. No one ever trains you how to meet life, no one can do that. The army manages to put a very structured personality into you, and then when you get out a few years after, no one else follows that structure. I still remember a day 7 years ago at business school, during a group 72-hour exam where we'd all agreed on stuff to do during the night. Now it was 2 a.m., and we were to meet at 7 a.m., but when we met again at 7:16, I was really pissed at my 16-minute delay. I really couldn't understand the guy when he told me that he was too tired to do it, and just wanted to cuddle with his girlfriend. He might as well have said those words in Chinese to me. I literally didn't understand the guy. My mind had been so adjusted to that everyone around always would do what they were told, or they would tell me that it would not be possible before that. I had gotten so used to every person not working the same way as me, that I forgot it, that if they would be tired, they would tell me immediately, not tell me embarrassed later. TLDR, there is a very direct way of communicating that happens in the military. You very quickly become accustomed to that. And after, you have to learn the hard way, that that's not how the rest of society works. I'm pretty sure that I still don't understand it, but I'm at least trying. First, save every scrap of paper that you receive. Make a binder that includes copies of all your orders, certificates, important documents, evaluation reports, medical information, etc. Have copies of everything. It seems like overkill, but paperwork goes missing all the time. Second, if you are sick, go to sick call. If you get paperwork from the doctor, keep a copy in your binder. If you get hurt, go to sick call. If it is severe, make sure you get line of duty paperwork. Each small injury might not seem like a big deal, but after a few years, they add up. You don't want to be 30 years old with the joints of a 60-year-old and no paperwork to back up your history. Third, if you need mental health treatment, go to mental health. Stop caring about what other people say. If you need help, go get it. Fourth, speak up for yourself. Be your own advocate. Not everyone has your best interest in mind. If you don't think something is right, voice your opinion, professionally. Fifth, don't be afraid to volunteer for cool missions and opportunities. Being able to control some aspects of your career feels pretty awesome. Search around, go on forums, check opportunities, network, etc. Sixth, go to school. Actual school. Don't let the military convince you that University of Phoenix is your end goal. Do whatever you want to do so you have skills when you leave the service. Use your GI Bill. If you're offered a special school, take IT. Especially if you are just coming out of 8. My biggest regret is that at the end of 8 a couple NCOs came into our living area and said we've got 10 slots for airborne and air assault. If you want one, the other, or both, raise your hand now and you'll be on the list. Told myself at the time that I'd go later when I was in better shape, or whatever I told myself. I f***ing hate myself because ever since then it's either been the unit doesn't have money for it, or I procrastinated any chances away. Don't do that to yourself. Keep your training environment mentality and get the schools done while you still have that mentality, because once you're out of that mentality, it's damn hard to get or want to be back in it. Save all paperwork. Save your goddamn money. Do not go out and buy a new car. Do not f***ing do it. You're not special. The car salesman is going to FCK you over just like everyone before you. Save your first couple paychecks, get a beta, and save the shit out of your money. I've seen guys save for 4 years and have enough to buy their dream car in cash. Watch Tony 5 buy the new Corvette Stingray as soon as it hit the market, with cash. He told us all that he had been saving for the past 5 years. It's not about cars though. It's about your future. Eventually you won't be army anymore. You're gonna be like some of us dumbasses and be in debt looking for whatever job you can get just to make ends meet. Go to school. F what anyone tells you. Go get signed up for classes. Do online, don't bother with classroom, as mission will dictate whether you get to make it to that class. Try telling 1SG you can't go to the field because you got class. So take as many online courses as you can. Shoot for a degree of any kind, preferably one you want. You'll be leagues ahead of everyone else. Finally, get seen for anything medical. Keep the paperwork. First, the bigger the military base you're at, the lower your standards just got. 10,000 extra dudes means a girl you used to date is now out of your league. That one night stand is now girlfriend material and you don't want to know how far down you'll have to go for a one night now. Next, research the job. I recommend calling a private recruiter who specializes in placing ex-military in civilian jobs. They'll know the best jobs to go for. I'm an engineer but my brother makes more than me based on his Navy nuke experience with no degree. The only pro skill I learned in the Army Guard is how to really kill people with rockets.